Hi everybody, welcome back to my Instagram live. As you all know, my name is Chef Sneha and I am an alumni of the Academy of Pastry and Culinary Arts, Mumbai. So today, let us transport from Gujarat. As you all know, last time I had made a Gujarati dish, but today I will be transporting you all guys to our very own, God's own country, Kerala. And from Kerala, I'll be demonstrating you the humble dish of the Malabar stew curry and appam. So let's get started. Great. So for the appam, Anand, can you come here? As you can all see, you require 2 cups of raw rice, which you have to soak it overnight and in water. 1 cup of the boiled rice. You require yeast, which has to be activated with the help of sugar and some warm water. So when you are grinding it, the soaked raw rice, you have to add in the boiled rice, the coconut and some water, and you grind it. So what you grind is actually the soaked raw rice, the boiled rice, the coconut and the water, or you can use coconut water also. That will enhance the flavor of the appam. So you blend everything without the yeast. Do not put the yeast at this point of time. You have to blend everything together, and then after you transfer it into a dish or a bowl where you're going to ferment it overnight, it was that time that you put in the activated yeast. So once you put the activated yeast into it and you keep the dough outside to ferment, it will fluff up, and the consistency of the dough would be this. So once it is fluffed up and it has activated the batter, what you do is you keep it in the fridge so that the yeast doesn't activate more. And then while you're preparing the appams, you can take the appam batter out prior 1 hour or 2 hours, so that it is not that cold to make the appams. You can put in salt also at that point of time. Do not put in salt when the yeast is activating. It will kill the yeast. So you put the yeast only prior when you're doing the appams. So the consistency of the appam batter should be this way, right? Any questions as of now, Anand?
No questions right now. Only one question is, will this session be saved? Yes, it will be saved.
Yes, it would be saved in the Instagram APCA India website at the IGTV. Also, if you do not get it into the IGTV place, you can also log on to the APCA India YouTube channel. So it will get saved out there. Right? So are you clear with the appam batter, or do I repeat it?
Yeah, I think some of them have just joined, so they just want you to repeat it.
So I'll repeat the procedure of the appam batter. Now for the appam batter, you require 2 cups of raw rice, which is soaked in water overnight. You require 1 cup of the cooked rice, any cooked rice, 1 cup, okay? 1 cup of grated coconut. You require water or coconut water. So these four things are there to make the batter. Okay, so you take all this and you grind it. After you transfer it into a bowl, it is at that time that you put in the activated yeast. Now how you activate a yeast? You take 1 teaspoon of yeast, 1 tablespoon of sugar and some warm water, and mix it all together. It will then get activated. You will see some bubbles floating on the top, and it's that time that the yeast has been activated. So that what you will be doing is you will put in this activated yeast into the dough mixture and mix it well. Do not put in salt because that will kill the yeast at that point of time. So what you do is, after you put in the yeast and mix it well, you keep the dough outside for overnight fermentation. Next day what you do is, when you get up, you mix the dough nicely, and you can keep it in the fridge if you are planning to do the appams little later. If not, you can mix the dough, add in some salt, and you are good to go while making the appams. Are you all clear with the appam procedure?
Yeah, some of them have questions about what rice to use. Any specific rice?
It is a normal rice. If you can see the small kolam rice or the ponni rice you have, it's the South Indian rice. Any typical rice you have. So it is not, do not use basmati rice please, because basmati rice have its flavor on its own. This actually has the flavor of the coconut. The main intent of the appam is the coconut, of the coconut flavor of this appam.
Also, they want to know whether can you use instant yeast?
Yes, you can use instant yeast, active yeast. You can use that. Yes. So let me just clear this out first. So now we'll get on to do the chicken stew. Now since the time is very short, so what I have done is I have pre-boiled the chicken, right? So I'll come to that first. So for the curry, Anand, for the curry, that is the Malabar chicken stew curry, I'll be using coconut oil, curry leaves, chili, shallots, which is good for Kerala Malabar stew. Julienne gingers. If you do not like ginger coming into mouth, you can fine chop your ginger also. You require some coriander powder, haldi, salt, parboiled potatoes, which is parboiled in salt and haldi. The first press coconut milk, the first press coconut milk and the second press coconut milk. So the stew, there are two things that you need to do. First is the parboiled potato. So what you do is you cut the potatoes in dice, and then what you do is you put in hot water, you put in salt and haldi, and put the potatoes into it and cook it. Okay, so you have this parboiled potatoes. Don't make it too mushy. It should be around 70 to 80% cooked, because the cooking process will continue cooking when you're putting it into the gravy also. So you have these parboiled potatoes, right? Next we'll start with the curry. So what you do is you take a pan, add in some oil. This is coconut oil. Kerala cuisine is always with coconut oil. That gives the flavor to the curry. Once the coconut oil is nice and hot, you add in some ginger. You do not need to brown the ginger. You do not need it crisp. You just need the ginger to lose its flavor in the oil. Now this Malabar curry is a very subtle flavored curry. So it is not overpowering with spices or anything. But while cooking the ginger, please ensure that it's not brown, it's not crisp, it's not like goldenish brown. It has to just lose the flavor into the oil. Once that is done, you add in some chilies. Now the chili proportion is all up to you. How spicy you need your curry to be. I like my curry to be spicy, so you can take around 4 chilies if you like less spice, or you can take 10 to 12 chilies if you like more spice. So this vessel actually is called urli, which is an authentic vessel which you can find in many of the households in Kerala. It's usually commonly used in various type of dishes like chicken, mutton, seafood, etc. Once the chili loses its flavor into the oil, you add in some curry leaves. Anand, any questions that I can?
Someone just asked which onions are these?
Shallots. These are called shallots. They are small onions. When you go to any market, you can ask them small onions, then they would give you this. So they are finely sliced. So this is a time when you put in the onions.
And they are also checking, can I use normal onions?
Absolutely. Normal. If you don't have shallots in your house, you can go in for your normal onions and you slice it finely. Also, the onions should not be brown. The onions should just sweat. It should turn into this lovely pink color. It should just sweat and become translucent. It should not become brown, because this curry should not have a color, because this curry is got a golden sunset lemony yellow color. So it should not get into this brown color. You just sweat the onions. Now since the...
So Chef Jagdish is asking, can I join for dinner?
Absolutely, Chef. You're most welcome. What I was saying is, since the onions are cooking out, let me just tell you that since we do not have much time for the chicken to cook, it would take some time to cook in its own juices. What I have done is, I have pre-boiled the chicken and kept in some haldi and little bit of pepper powder. What you can do otherwise, what is the usual procedure in a Malabar stew curry is, actually you sear the chicken, the raw chicken, into the masalas. So once you sear, it will all get its juices locked into it, and then you can all the flavors will get locked into the chicken. But since we don't have the time, I have just pre-boiled the chicken in some ginger, garlic and pepper powder, and I will use the same thing.
So also there is a question about if we are making a vegetarian version of stew.
So if you're
what should we add?
Okay, so if you're making a vegetarian version of the stew curry, you can use boiled potatoes, as you can see, and you can, with that you can use carrots, blanched beans, peas. It will turn into a vegetarian stew. So
Anamika is very happy.
So as you can see, the onions have been cooking out and it's turning translucent. At this time, you can add in haldi and around 2 to 3 teaspoons of coriander powder. You have to fry off the spices very nicely. If you do not, the spices needs to cook very nicely, because if you do not cook off the spices, you will always get a heartburn if it is raw. So please ensure that you're cooking off your spices pretty well. Ensure it doesn't burn. Once you cook off your spices, you add in your chicken. So this is a time, what I was saying, that you can sear your raw chicken. So when you put in the raw chicken and sear the meat into the masalas, so that all the flavors are locked into the chicken. Is there any question, Anand? So Kerala cuisine is of 3 types. There are 3 types of Kerala cuisine. One is the Hindu community cuisine, which is actually vegetarian. They also have their own meat dishes. They also have their vegetarian dishes. Like Onam, you have that is totally vegetarian. You have the Onam Sadhya, which has around 12 to 16 dishes which are vegetarian. So and second is your Syrian cuisine. Syrian cuisine is actually the Catholic cuisine. And the third being the Mopla cuisine or the Malabari cuisine. So this is actually the Malabar chicken which I am teaching you right now. And this cuisine, the Malabar cuisine is based on the culmination of Kerala cuisine with the Persian as well as the Dutch cuisine. So it has some influence of the Arabs also, because when the Arabs came into Kerala for the Kerala spices, they formed a community there, and then this Malabari cuisine came into popularity. So let me just, once this chicken is happening, let me just take you through the coconut milk procedure. Anand, can you come closer please? So in the ingredient chart, I had told you there are two press milk. First is the first press milk and the second press milk. So how do you do the coconut milk? So you take grated coconut. What you do is you grate the coconut and then you put in some hot water, little bit of hot water, and you blitz it. You take a muslin cloth over a sieve and then put this particular grated coconut into the muslin cloth and squeeze it. The first milk that comes out of this coconut is called the first press milk. So the first press milk is generally sweeter and it also is thicker. So if suppose you keep it into the fridge, you will have a layer, this thick layer of this coconut foam, you know, and it is very tasty. So it is thick, it is sweet, and that is called the first press milk. Can you see this? This is so thick. So this first press milk is very thick and doesn't have any water content into it, right? So this is called the first press milk. Now what is a second press milk? The residue of the first press milk, that is when you squeeze, you have that residue of the coconut which is there in the muslin cloth. You don't throw that off, keep it. After you take out the first press milk, what you do is you put that residue back into the mixer and you put in double the quantity of the water and blitz it. When you put it back into the sieve, you squeeze that out, and what you will get is the second press milk. If I can show you here, see, this is more runny, this is more watery, and it's got the flavor of the coconut, but it is not as intense as the first press milk. So when you are making this curry, what you usually need to do is you need to first put in the second press milk. Why? Because you need the chicken to cook in the coconut flavor. So you put in the second press milk and not the first press. So I'm going in with the second press milk. You can see this lemon yellowy color curry. Anand, is there any questions where I can...
No specific question, but yeah, Ratandeep wants to know, can you suggest any good books regarding such cuisine?
There is one book which I had seen on Kindle, which is called The Taste of Kerala. There is another cuisine called the Malabar Coast, which also you can find in Kindle. Secondly, I am a Keralite, so I know more about these cuisines, so I do not refer. These are all my mother's recipes, and there are certain recipes which I was taught in my academy, so that's how I do not refer to any books. It's all inherited by my mother.
Also, a question about, does the coconut milk split?
Yes, the first coconut milk generally splits if you put the flame on high and if you put the flame on high and then you put the first coconut milk, it'll start splitting. To avoid this, what you can usually do, you can put a little bit of corn flour into the coconut milk so that it will not, this is a hack. So what you do to avoid the splitting of the coconut milk, you put a little bit of corn flour into it, so that might not split the coconut milk. Otherwise, what I usually do is I take it off the heat, the vessel, and then I put the first coconut press, and then I get it into a gentle simmer. After a first boil, I switch it off. At this point of time, you can put a little bit of salt and let it simmer for a while. Malabari cuisine is pretty interesting cuisine because Malabar, the main regions for Malabar cuisine is Kozhikode and Taliseri. If you have the chance to go to Kerala, please go to Taliseri because you have this amazing Taliseri biryani from the Malabar cuisine, and it's a biryani to die for.
So a lot of good comments for you. Everyone is, Alisha is saying looks very yummy. So is Dayan, and Naved has said hi to you. So while you're cooking.
So the curry is boiling. Now I'll just have a taste to see if all the yes. So once the curry comes up to a boil, you add in this parboiled potatoes. So these parboiled potatoes will give actually a texture. So it will not be a runny curry. Since the starchiness of this potato will start getting into the curry and it will start becoming thick. If you dig deep, there is various interesting cuisines that you can find out from your own heritage, like this Malayali cuisine or the Keralite cuisine. I never knew. After I started reading books, I came to know there are 3 types of cuisines in Kerala. So it's very interesting to know. You might feel like you can go and check out all these westernized cuisines and you like to get into those areas, but your own heritage has this vast cuisines by itself, like this it has a lot of flavors, a lot of intense flavors into it that you are so amazed by it.
So Adesh has requested, can you repeat the 3 cuisine part again?
So the 3 cuisine part is, one is the Hindu cuisine, which is mostly a vegetarian cuisine. They also include fish, meat, but that is this one. Then you have a Syrian cuisine, Christian cuisine, and then you have the Mopla cuisine, which is the Malabar cuisine. So you see the curry is there. Now I'm just taking this out. I'm just taking this out from the gas.
Your dad wants to know, how do you make white stew instead of brown?
Dad, this is yellow stew, it is not brown. If you want to make white stew, you do not put the haldi into it. So let this cool a little bit because I have to add the first pressed milk. Can you see this milk? Nice, thick. It has a sweet flavor into it. Now another thing that you can do with appam is that in this the first press milk, you can take a very nice accompaniment for the appam. You know, when you want it, when you want something sweet instead of the savory thing, you can take this coconut milk, add a little bit of caster sugar into this fine sugar, you add it into it, and you dip the appams into it. It's too good.
Okay, there is a huge request from everyone saying next time can you do fish curry?
Absolutely, I will take this request and will definitely do fish curry. So I'm adding this first press milk. You can see it is not splitting at this point of time.
So someone said, please put off the gas.
I have to put it back. So you have, yeah. So I'm putting this back. I just took it off the heat so that the milk doesn't split. So I'm putting it back in the heat and just let it simmer. Let it come to a simmer, and then you're good to go. Please make sure that you are mixing the stew continuously, because if you do not mix, then there are chances that you will split the coconut milk.
There's a request later, can you brief again about the appam batter?
Sure, I will do that, or I can do it right now also, because I need this thing to come up to a simmer. For the appam batter, you need to take 2 cups of raw rice, which is soaked overnight in water, 1 cup of cooked rice, 1 cup of grated coconut, fresh coconut, and water. So these are the 4 ingredients that you require for grinding your appam batter. Once your appam batter is ground, you can add in yeast. Now, how to activate the yeast? You can take anything, instant yeast or the active dry yeast. What you do is you take a little bit of sugar and the yeast and add in a bit of warm water and activate it. So when you see these bubbles and foams in the yeast, that's the time when you add in the yeast of the activated yeast into the batter, and you mix it pretty well. Mix it. Do not put in salt. What does a salt do? It will cut off the activation of the yeast in the batter. Once and you keep it outside overnight fermentation. So the next day when you get up, if you want to do your appams, you give it a mix. Check the consistency of the appam. It should be a little bit flowing, and then you can add in the salt and you're good to go.
So there's a question, where are you based out of?
Based out of?
Where are you based out of? Mumbai.
Mumbai. I'm from Mumbai. I'm a Keralite, but I'm a Mumbaite. This stew can also be eaten with hot steaming rice. It's wonderful. And my chef Jagdish loves it.
So can you use baking soda?
For what?
I think.
For the appam? No, I don't. No, you do not use baking soda. Please do not use baking soda. I have not heard about baking soda in the East. So it's come to a boil. It's come to a boil, and now I'm going to switch it off. I will temper it when I'm plating the dish, and that's good to go now. You at the end, after you remove from the gas, you can add in this roasted fennel powder. So I've taken some fennel, I roasted it in the pan, dry roasted it, and I give it a blitz. So it's roasted fennel powder. This will enhance the flavor of the curry. So I'm just sprinkling a bit on the curry.
You got some comments from Shiji as well, saying looks very yummy.
Thank you, Shiji. So
Shivani Mittal wants to know the name of the recipe.
So this is called the Malabar chicken stew with appams.
So another question is, after adding yeast, do you need to keep the batter for fermentation?
So yeah, after you add the yeast, you have to keep the batter for fermentation. It can be from morning to evening, the batter will be fermented, or it's an overnight fermentation. So yeah. Yeah. So now I will take you all to show you how to make an appam. Now your batter is ready, it's all good to go. You need to check the consistency, if is this flowing, right? So this is called, traditionally it's called the appachatti in Malayalam. You can get it in iron cast appachattis, or you can get it in a non-stick appachatti. Iron cast appachattis is wonderful to use, but you have to season the iron cast appachattis. For your non-stick one, you can just use it as it is. So I've got a non-stick one. So this is very important. You need to check the temperature of the appachattis, because it needs to be hot so that the batter sticks to the sides or sides of the appachatti.
What should be the right temperature to heat up?
Just you need to put your hand and see, not too hot.
Another question from
this is the way you swirl the appams. So your center should be lumpy, it should be like cushiony and it should be like a soft sponge, and your external should be nice and crisp. Right, see the middle part is little bit thick and the outside a little thinner. So you need to maintain the temperature. Don't put it on high flame, otherwise you'll burn the entire thing. You have to maintain the temperature of the appam. That is very crucial. Yes, Ramandeep?
So Ratandeep wanted to know what twist or variation can be given to appams.
Oh, there are various twists. I mean, you can give like how you have these 72 types of dosas and everything. You can do the same thing with your appams. You can make these small appams, or you can make egg appams. You can make vegetable appams. You can put small the small cut vegetables into it. You can put something, and you can just flavor up the appams.
The other question was, don't you sprinkle a dash of coconut oil also?
No, you actually need to brush a little bit of coconut oil before you put the appam batter into the appachattis, because it is not a dosa, it is an appam. It doesn't have to be that oily when you're taking out the appams. In Sri Lanka, you have these egg hoppers. They are called as hoppers. They are not called as appams. They are called as hoppers. So they have this normal hoppers, or they have egg hoppers, or they have these string hoppers, which is called idiyappam. So they have it with chicken curry, crab curry, fish curry. It's too good. This is very crucial because you need to know the temperature of the appam, because the external part should crisp up very nicely. Otherwise, it's sometimes it's a trial for me also, even after doing it for so many years. So let me show you. I have also made these appams. I have made these egg appams. So what I've done is, in the appam, I have just broken up an egg, a sunny side up, and I have just broken it in the center and just let it cook on the inside. So let me just start plating up for you.
There's a question again, what would be the recipe if you are using sama chawal instead of normal chawal?
Sama chawal. I'm sorry, I do not know what is sama chawal.
So, Ratandeep, could you elaborate a little more on what's a sama chawal? Okay, so next question is, can you take any type of appam?
Can you take?
Any type of rice for an appam?
That's why I said kollam is good. Rice, that idli rice is also good.
Harshal has said hi to you, Sneh.
Hi Harshal.
Can you use idli rice, the one that is used for idli batter?
Yes, you can use it.
Sama chawal is something which you use which you eat while you are fasting.
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of it. So I'm going to temper the curry. I'm going to temper it with a little bit of fried curry leaves.
So Harshal is saying, I have tasted this 4 years back at your place.
It's still the same. Please come over. So, yeah, 1 minute.
So they're asking what happened to the appam pan.
Nothing happened to the appam pan. This is the type of appam that you'll get, which is soft in the middle and crisp on the outside. I've already made it before, so since there is no time for me to make 2-3 appams at one time, so I've already made a normal appam and I've made an egg appam, and this is the chicken stew.
Okay, your nephew Arav wants to know what inspired you to be a chef.
That has always been an inspiration since childhood, but I think I took a while to realize my passion, so never too late. Hi Arav. So yes, so this is the recipe for the appam and Malabar chicken stew. Any questions?
So the question is, what tadka did you use?
So I just used coconut oil and curry leaves. I just tempered it and I put it on top of it. It's a simple, subtle gravy for the appams. There is no much spices. There are various variations for these appams. Somebody also, some people put in whole spices into their Malabar stew curry. But I like it only with ginger and onions because it sinks their flavors. That's the only thing. It's very subtle and it's very nice.
Okay, one last question is, can we use millet instead of rice?
Sorry, I have always used rice for my. You can try, but I haven't tried. I've always used rice, and appam with rice is pretty good. Thank you everybody to watch my Instagram live. And for sure, I will take up this request of making a fish curry next time in my Instagram live. Thank you and goodbye. Wait.